Okay. What was your experience with criminal law?
Um, my first year of university, I guess I was 19. I'd been dating my boyfriend for 2.5 years, and we split up. He didn't take the breakup very well, which I understood. I mean, he thought we were going to get married. I didn't. But after our breakup, he started to contact me all the time at school. He would phone me nonstop. My roommate and I had to unplug our phones. He was contacting my university school friends like through MSN and like their phones, trying to get a hold of me, find out what I was doing, if they could pass along messages. He wanted to come up and visit me to drop off some stuff, which didn't really make sense to me because I was living an hour away from him, and why he wouldn't just drop it off at my parents' house is questionable. But I mean, it was because he wanted to see me and he wanted to get close to me. Things kind of reached a breaking point when I went home for St. Patrick's Day, and I was just stopping in Ingersoll for the morning when on that weekend to go to an interview for a summer job, and he just happened to see me get off the Greyhound bus. Like, it was a complete fluke. Like, he didn't know I was going to be home, and now he did. And the morning that I was home and I was going to the interview, I came home and I was like, well, I'm in Ingersoll. Like, I'll call my friend. I'll catch up with her briefly before I head back to London and go about my weekend. And in the process of catching up with her on the phone, I saw his car pull up in front of my parents' house, and I was the only one home. They were away at a hockey tournament for my brother. And he started pounding on the door. And of course, like, I didn't want to talk to him, especially with the fact that, like, I told him I wasn't going to be around, that I didn't want to speak to him. Like, my parents had told him I didn't want to speak to him, and now he's, like, at my door knowing that I'm home alone. So it made me really uncomfortable. So I had my friend who I was on the phone with call, around like my family that lives close to my parents, and try and find out somebody that could at least come up and stay with me while he was there, or like at my door, or get him to leave because I didn't really want to open the door, just because he hadn't been acting like himself recently. After that, like, he finally left after like 45 minutes of banging on the door, like alternating between the front door and the back door. And I was terrified. I sat in my bathroom, like, crying because I was so upset. And my grandma and my friend's dad ended up coming up and getting him to leave. Like, them coming was what caused him to go. When I talked to my parents, they were like, his behavior is starting to escalate. Like, you need to go down to the police station and file a report. Like, this is not okay. And I'd never done anything like that, and he was my first boyfriend, and I loved him, and I knew that I had really hurt him when we broke up, so I didn't want to do that. But at the same time, like, I understood that there needs to be a paper trail. Otherwise, you're kind of screwed if something happens. So I went down to the police station, I filed my report, and I felt really, like, brushed off while I was down there. Like, they didn't take me all that seriously. Like, I think they just thought, like, I was over exaggerating everything. Like, why on earth would you be scared? He was your boyfriend. Like, you were in your house. Like, nothing can happen. And it just felt really dismissive. And their conclusion was, like, I filed a report and everything, but instead of actually, like, really taking me seriously, their response was, well, we'll go and we'll talk to Tony, who was my ex's father, and we'll get this all straightened out. Which, not exactly the most appropriate response. Like, going to his father, like, it just felt really dismissive. That's what it felt like, and that it didn't really, like, matter. They weren't going to confront the kid right on because he was young and he was in love, and it wasn't at all, like, unacceptable. So
What was the result of utilizing the system?
well, they went and they spoke to his dad, and it didn't resolve anything. Instead, I started to get messages from my ex saying, like, how dare you, how could you do this to me, like, I don't think he realized how long he had been at my door either. But, it didn't make things better by the police going and talking to his dad, because now, like, he was pissed that his dad knew, and, like, I was the one wearing the brunt end of it, not anyone else. Like,
So, do you feel that your experience was a positive one or a negative one?
it was a learning experience, so I guess in that way it was positive, but overall, like, the impression I got from the police, like, sucked. Would I, go to them again? I don't know. Like, it sucks that, when you try and do what you're supposed to do and you're not taken seriously, that you don't feel like you're getting any results. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd use it again. I don't know if I would say it was a great experience. So
That. Very good. I was gonna say too. I wanted to melt too.